One thing you've done as governor that has been particularly unique amongst leaders is you haven't just, I think, given people platitudes. You came out with really stern warnings very early on. You were very grim in your forecast. You just told the people what information you had. Um, it's a very unique way to handle a press conference. You've also been very personal in telling the stories that you've told. Is there a reason you chose to do this? You know, because some leaders would go, I'm gonna hide it all and not share anything with the public. I'll just make them feel good. You've chosen a completely different approach. Why? Because I haven't slept at night, and I feel like you could have carried some of that burden for me. But I want to know why you chose to not do that.
We had our first case on March 1st. I was going to put in some of the most dramatic government mandates in history. No other governor has shut down the economy. No other governor has ever said, you have to stay home. If New Yorkers had said, no, I'm not doing it, and New Yorkers are a defiant bunch, I would have been powerless. I can't enforce a stay-at-home order for 19 million people. The ability to have a plan was purely dependent on New Yorkers buying in. And they are smart and they are cynical. And if they don't believe you, or you haven't made your argument and you haven't laid out the facts, they're not going to do it. Especially when you're asking them to do something they don't want to do, especially when you're asking them to do something they have never done before. I mean, just think about saying to New Yorkers, everybody must stay home. Lock the door, you can't go outside except to go buy food, and then you have to run right back home. No, I'm a native New Yorker. My first instinct is, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's nice, but I'm not doing it. So they had to believe it. They had to understand it. And I am not in the business of not telling the truth or trying to manipulate, or I'm only going to tell you what you can handle because I'm worried about what you can actually absorb. No, I am not there to filter. I'm not there to manipulate. Here's the situation. Here are the facts. I'm going to tell you everything I know. You know everything I know. And just the way I know it, no sugarcoating.
There's no lying that everyone has been affected by this. You know, some days I feel like life is normal. Some days I feel like this is the craziest thing we've ever experienced, and it swings wildly. And I know everyone has a different experience of it. I don't know what it's like to be a leader, a governor of a state where thousands of people are dying, and you are hearing this, you are seeing the stories, you're responsible for these lives. You're not responsible for the deaths, but you're responsible for the lives of the people and keeping everybody safe as you can. What has that done for you as a person? How are you doing, and how are you dealing with this?
On the communication, which, as I said, is so important because really this is all a voluntary program by New Yorkers, right? They changed their behavior, they brought down the infection rate. But I gave them the information. Part of the information was personal because this is traumatic. This is PTSD for an entire generation that will talk about this. And it is personal. So I tried to communicate how I feel personally and my fear and my anxiety as part of this, to say to you, you're not alone. Everyone's feeling this. I'm feeling it too. The one differentiation is I have to deal with the number of deaths in the state. 15,000 people, Trevor. 9/11, 2,700 people. 9/11, 2,700 people. That was supposed to be the worst experience of my life, I believed. 2,700 people. This is 15,000 people. 474 people yesterday. That weighs heavily on me. I can sit here and say to you, I believe that we did everything that could possibly be done. I don't believe we lost anyone because we didn't have a bed and we didn't have doctors and nurses. We did that. But we still lost 15,000 people. And I still am the governor, and I still hold myself responsible. And I still say to myself, what else could I do? What else could I do? What else could I do? Was there anything else that we could be doing right now? That is a very heavy burden to bear.
You've also had an interesting connection to the coronavirus on a very personal level. And I know we've got to let you go soon, but I wanted to chat to you a little bit about a strange journey that many of us have gone on, where we got introduced to a love and a friendship that you share with your brother, who is on CNN. And, you know, for many people, I mean, we'd never seen this side of you. We'd never seen you and your brother and the way you joke with each other. And then it came out that Chris had coronavirus, and now all of a sudden his world was turned upside down. Did any of that experience shake you in a different way when it became that much closer to you as a person?
Oh yeah, yes, for sure it did. And again, in the same way, the powerlessness. Here's my brother, and he's my man. He's my best friend, and you know, I don't like to give him any credit because that's the whole big brother, little brother thing. But the guy is a superstar. He really is. And he's a beautiful guy. He's just a beauty. But he gets sick. He's in his basement. I can't even go see him. And then his wife gets sick. She's quarantined upstairs. He's quarantined in the basement. He's got 3 kids, a 17-year-old and 2 younger kids, and I can't go see him. I can't help the kids. I mean, it's this terrible nightmare of a science fiction movie where you can have the loved ones with this disease where nobody knows whether you're going to live or die, you know, and I kept saying to him, don't worry, you're young and you're fine. Yeah, sure, but who knows, right? Because yes, it tends to attack seniors, but you also have younger people who are dying. And there's nothing I could do. I'm his big brother. I love him more than anybody. I'm the governor of the state. Nothing that I can do to help. And that is a humbling situation to be in. It just shows you how we all try to be in control. You're in control of nothing. You're in control of nothing at the end of the day. Men plan and God laughs, right? So it's on top of all the disorientation, on top of the responsibility, then you just have this real life situation where you worry every day that is he going to be the one that could lose his life, that could die from this. So it does bring it home. It does bring it home, Trevor.
Well, Governor, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be seeing you on the show on the other side of this. Look after yourself mentally, physically, and thank you so much for joining us on the Daily Social Distancing Show.
Thank you. I'll keep watching.
Have a good one.